There are those places on Earth we call hidden gems, because big cruise ships can't find them. Places that few will see, but the ones who do will remember forever. Where we use our navigational skills to steer clear of the expected. These are the places only a Windstar cruise can take you. So unlike the big cruise ships that only go to big cruise places, Windstar takes you further and gets you closer to the tucked away ports and pristine isles only itineraries designed for a smaller ship can reach. You'll chart your own course. Whether you're getting lost in the past, catching up with local culture, or going off on your own adventure, you'll always arrive back to the ship with plenty of stories to share. So why not try a dish you can't pronounce? Find a secluded spot to sunbathe. Bring home an ancient recipe as a souvenir. You'll visit all 5 senses before you hit the first port on the official cruise line of the James Beard Foundation, with exceptional locally sourced dishes, prepared by world-class chefs. From dining al fresco to coffee with the captain, you'll enjoy welcoming, highly personal service that's been named the best on the seas. Because at Windstar, we believe the smaller the ship, the grander the journey, for travel that's 180 degrees from ordinary. Welcome aboard.
I can see lots of people joining. For those that have a chance to pull up our website, friendshiptours.net, if you go on to the cruise portion, the ship shop portion, some of the itineraries that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to share them at the end, are actually there, and you can kind of take a peek at that later or at the end. And I think what we probably should start off with is getting our quick drink lesson here, and nobody better than Donna to do this for us. So for those that have traveled for a long time, my name's Brett from Friendship Tours, and Amy, who's also on, Amy Schoen is waving her hand. So our mother actually started Friendship Tours in 1977, and we always like to joke. People say, how long have you been doing this? And we there's 3 of us kids in our family, and we always said there were really 4, the 4th being Friendship Tours and the ship shop. And my mom, for those that don't know, she actually had a long career in travel, but she fell in love with travel as a young girl. She actually, in 1958, her Girl Scout troop decided they were going to go and raise money to go to Europe. And what happened is, that's exactly what they did. They sold eggs, they made enough money, 25 girls boarded a ship, so even back then they were cruising, went from Montreal, so they went up via train to the St. Lawrence River, out the St. Lawrence River, and 2.5 weeks later, not the fastest ship, right? Not like today, but 2.5 weeks later, they were in Europe. They went to 13 different countries, and during that time, she fell in love with the places that you go, the people, the topography, but more than anything, she built friendships that lasted her entire lifetime. And that's actually how Friendship Tours gets its name, is friendships through travel. And I can't think of a better way to have those friendships kind of come alive than on this new media that, you know, if I had said a year ago we'd all be meeting via our computer, I think everyone would think I was crazy. But you've all gotten so great at this. We're really excited to have this ability to do this tonight. And so we've wanted to start off our happy hour tonight a little bit by connecting, and we thought what better way to do that than with a drink. So Donna, do you want to take over?
Sure, I can take over. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Donna.
Hi. Hey, you made it. I'm so excited. So I wanted to make tonight one of the Windstar signature drinks. So when you go on your Windstar cruise, you can enjoy this cocktail. It's called a strawberry and basil smash. So basically the ingredients are strawberries, very important. We have the basil. We have simple syrup, which is typically, it's just sugar water. We have vodka. You can also use gin if you prefer. And then we're going to top it off with a little Prosecco. Who doesn't love Prosecco, right? Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take 2 strawberries and we're going to put those in our cup. And we're going to put 2 leaves of basil, and then we're going to use, and let's see, a ½ ounce of fresh lemon juice. So I squeezed this earlier to be prepared. So get some lemon juice. And then we're also going to do a ½ ounce of simple syrup, which is the sugar water. I'm going to put that in there. And then we're going to muddle it up. So if you don't have a muddler, I don't know, you got to add this to your collection because it's really important, right? So we're going to muddle that up pretty good. All right, got that going. Muddle, muddle, muddle. And then we're going to add our vodka, which is 1½ ounces. You can do more, you can do less, it's up to you. So we got 1½ ounces of vodka. And then I'm going to, let's see, make sure I do this right. I'm going to add my ice. And then before I actually pour it into the glass and shake it, I'm going to rim it with some sugar because that's awesome. And in order to get the sugar to stick, what I usually do is I just put some lemon around the edge and stick it in the sugar, and then you got a perfectly rimmed glass. And then we're going to shake it up. Good. And then we're going to pour it in this nice tall glass. Looks really pretty. And then we're going to top it with our Prosecco. And then to make it look really pretty, we're going to add some strawberries and a little basil on the top. And there you go. All ready to go cruising, sitting on your deck chair in the Caribbean with your cocktail. Cheers, everybody.
That looks delicious.
Doesn't that look great?
It really does.
No, I just have to see how it tastes. No.
What was the call again?
Thanks, everybody.
What was that called? Somebody was asking.
Oh, strawberry and basil smash. And I can send whoever would like the recipe, just let me know. I'll send it over.
Can you just deliver one to my house, please?
Oh, okay. It'll take me about 20 minutes.
Well, so Donna, thanks so much for doing that. And
No problem.
maybe as we get going a little bit later, we might be able to show you a second one. I know that
Absolutely.
that Heidi has a favorite drink, and I hear the president of Windstar, it might be his favorite as well. So we may share that a little bit later on. But we're really thrilled to have everybody on with us. I want to say on board because I feel like we're on these ships already. And we at the ship shop, you know, so the ship shop started in the 80s. How many remember Love Boat? Do you remember that show?
Oh, yeah.
So when that came out, during that time, everything changed in the world of ships. And so right around that same time, my mother was always a great visionary, and she kind of thought, you know, we should be adding a cruise division to Friendship Tours. So that's if you see Friendship Tours and the ship shop, you got to say that nice and slowly, but the ship shop was born. And right around that same time in the 80s is actually when Donna came through our doors. Now she was, you know, all of about 19, 20 years old. And right away, she was told that you're going to go and learn a brand new form of travel, which is cruising. And so poor Donna had to go off and learn how to cruise. And the only way you can do that, Dana, right, is the only way to learn how to do it is to cruise yourself.
Absolutely.
And so how many
Terrible
feel
job.
bad for Donna having to go off and learn how to do that? So over the years, many of you have traveled and experienced the ship shop. And also on our call today, you'll see Barbara Hackenyos. So Barbara's in our ship shop, and also Heidi. So all of those and our staff make up kind of that division. And one of the things we've always prided ourselves is finding the products that are best for our customers. And I can't think of a better product to kind of share with you than the Windstar product line. And I love what they talk about is 180 degrees away from regular or normal. And I can't think of a person who can do a better job to explain why this small luxury cruising is so popular and how some of you may fit into this. And I love that many of our travelers, you've gone all over And you're not really tourists, you're travelers. You're looking for that extra new place, that special off the beaten path place to go. And that's exactly what we're going to share this evening. So Diana, why don't you take it over?
Very good. Thank you. So I appreciate all of you taking the time to join us tonight. And actually, I actually have a lot of fun doing these happy hours throughout the world, and I mean, throughout the country. And I am going to do it from the beginning. So basically what I'm going to talk about is a little bit about our brand, a little bit about what makes Windstar special, what we're going to do to keep you safe, and then I'm going to highlight some of my favorite sailings and some of Windstar's most awarded sailings that we have.
Your face.
So, and I'm hoping, is everyone able to see my screen? I'm hoping everybody can see my screen now.
And what he talks about is very sarcastic.
Somebody has sound in their background. It might be a good idea
I'm not sure if you can fit or not.
so that everybody can
But
hear.
I really enjoy.
So I'm going to mute everybody and then
There.
just
a lot of
unmute you.
different emotions
Perfect.
with his analysis. So
Perfect. Okay. So and we will definitely have time available at the end of the presentation for questions as well. So Windstar Cruise is a small ship cruise line. We actually carry 350 guests or less. So we really are very small. We have two different types of ships. We have our sailing yachts, which we call our Wind class, and then we have our Star Plus class, which are these over here, and these are our all suite yachts. Not that anybody has been lucky in the sailing world recently. However, with Windstar, we actually were a little bit on the lucky side with the fact that these three ships were already scheduled to be out of service during 2020 as they're going through a $250 million renovation. So not that anybody is lucky, but that's certainly something that did work in our favor. So with Windstar, it's not all about the ship. We really are taking our travelers in a different direction. Because of our size, we're able to go to these captivating places in these far off, beautiful lands that you couldn't otherwise get to if you were on a big ship. We're able to go beyond the reach of other ships. So I'm going to share with you our brand video because it does talk about a little bit about what makes us different. But one of the things that is special is all of the advertising that you see with Windstar, all of our videos that we create, we actually use our onboard staff and our onboard crew and guests as well. So this happens to be Captain Neil. He's one of my favorite captains that sails with Windstar. But let me go ahead and get that started for you.
I'm Neil Broomhall. I'm the captain of Star Legend. I've been at sea for all of my life. We have 6 ships, 3 of them are sail, 3 of them are motor. Once you're on board, you're going to have the same Windstar experience no matter which ship you're on. The Windstar experience is this fabulous little close community, an environment where people not only enjoy their holiday, but there's a huge amount of social interaction between everybody. The significant thing with Windstar is that we get to some of the smaller out-of-the-way places, and those smaller out-of-the-way places can be somewhere that's difficult to get to. The nice thing with a shallow draft vessel like this is we can take her along many of the longer rivers and canals to get her to some of those places that the big ships obviously cannot access. All of the ships feature a water sports platform. We visit some fabulous little bays. We put the anchor down, we put the water sports platform down. We have an open bridge policy, which means the passengers will come and visit me on the bridge. They will ask me all sorts of questions about where we are, what's on the chart, how does the radar work. All of these questions I'm more than happy to answer. It's a very rare thing these days to be able to have access to the bridge. Windstar are quite unusual in permitting that. Here on board, of course, we're delighted that we can do it. It's a great pleasure to be able to welcome the guests onto the bridge. We have a very close relationship with our passengers. We get to know their names, we get to know what their favourite drinks are, the waiters get to know what their requirements are in the restaurant and so on. And so we are noted for having perhaps the friendliest cruise at sea. I have to say that it is the best experience that I've had at sea. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I hope that I'm able to pass that joy onto the passengers because it really is a wonderful experience here on Windstar.
So I don't know if you picked up, but part of things is not only are we in the ocean, but we're also small enough, we're a shallow draft vessel, So we sail a lot of fjords, we sail up through rivers and into harbors. So we're able to get places, as I mentioned, that you just can't get to on a bigger ship. So this is my favorite saying with Windstar: we're the cruise line for travelers and not for tourists. And what that means is if you've been on a big ship before, you're a tourist. You're there to enjoy the ship, the shows, the food, and all of that. It really isn't so much about the destination. You oftentimes don't know if you're in Cozumel or Cancun, because they're actually ports that you're visiting that were designed for these big ship cruise lines. With Windstar, because of our small size, we do go a lot of places that we're the only cruise line or the only cruise ship that people have ever seen. I was mentioning recently that 2 years ago, I was doing a cruise in Scotland, and we were on the Isle of Man, which is a small little island off Scotland, which is absolutely beautiful and probably one of my favorite places. But the schools actually closed so that the kids could come and see the cruise passengers that were coming into town. So that's the difference of a big ship cruise line where everything is all about tourism, and a small ship cruise line where it really is all about the culture and the places that we visit. So we really do immerse our guests in the places that we go. We're very port intensive as well, because we think that that's what's important. But with the size of our ships, we're able to give you a more up close, authentic, distinctive type of vacation. We don't just bring you into those big cruise ports. We are usually tucked into some of those smaller cruise ports where the yachts go, where it's more of a, you're going to experience more of a local culture. So a little bit about our ships. Our flagship is the Windstar. She carries 342 passengers. She's what most people think of when they're thinking of Windstar, because she's in a lot of advertising, and obviously she's such a beautiful ship with the sails. And then we have two smaller yachts. We have the Wind Spirit and the Windstar. They each carry 148 passengers. Now these Wind class ships, you're going to find mostly in the warmer waters. So you'll find them in the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, sailing the Greek Isles, occasionally in Spain, and also in Tahiti. So you're going to find her, you know, because obviously it's better sailing conditions in the warmer waters. And then we have our new Star Plus class yachts. These will now carry 312 guests. Our first ship that is actually already finished, we saw her sail in Italy 2 weeks ago, and that is the Star Breeze, and she will start sailing in January. And then the next two follow behind her, the Star Legend and the Star Pride. You're going to find these ships when we're in Australia, New Zealand. You'll also find them in Iceland and more northern Europe or the colder waters, and also Alaska. So what did we do with this $250 million renovation? Well, we did what all good shipyards do, is we cut our ship in half. But actually what we did is we brought our ships in. We did build this center area here that that has a lot of the new amenities on board. And then of course we glued them back together. But don't worry, we worked with some great marine scientists. We used glue that is unsinkable. So we're all pretty confident that it'll all work. But truthfully, that is what we did. We brought her in, we inserted the new parts that we added, and then we welded her all back together and painted her. And as I say, 2 weeks ago, we watched her sail. It almost brought tears to everybody in our corporate office, just because it's been so long since we've seen our ship sail. But with this, it wasn't about getting bigger with Windstar, because we still are 350 passengers or less. We're still small enough to do things like go through the Corinth Canal or under the Tower Bridge. So if that gives you an idea of size. It really, though, was about adding more amenities on board for our guests. So we've added a new infinity swimming pool. We have a new hair salon and workout facilities. We now have a world-class spa on board. So it was just giving our guests more of what they were looking for and upgrading some of the items. Now this is the standard cabin on board this Star Plus class ship. And I show this to you because they're absolutely beautiful. We do not have any inside cabins. They are all outside cabins, but they start at 277 square feet. And if you're not used to cruising, in ship world, that's a big number. They are very spacious. And you can see if this particular one here has a French balcony, but if it didn't have the French balcony, that would be a wall-to-wall window in the standard class. We have a couple cabins that are portholes now with the new renovation because of how we've moved some things around, but the majority of the cabins look just like this. And you can see this is not a typical ship bathroom. They are quite large with double sinks, big walk-in showers. They also have walk-in closets, which is not normal for a shipyard. So we are the official cruise line of the James Beard Foundation, and all of the food and beverage on board all of our ships is absolutely fabulous. We win a lot of awards for our food and beverage offerings. And we have our main dining room, which is called the Amphora Dining Room. The unique thing about this, and this is because of the size of our ship, we do source our food and beverage locally, and we do cook to order. We also theme a lot of our offerings around the destinations that we'll be traveling. So that's something that you can't get on a big ship. You certainly couldn't cook to order for 3,000 people, but we can cook to order for 350 people. We also have Candles, which is our Under the Stars Steakhouse restaurant, and those are on board all of our ships. On these Star class ships, we're also adding 2 new dining facilities. One is called Quadra 44. This is going to be a Spanish tapas restaurant under the name of Chef Anthony Sasso, who is a 13-year Michelin chef. In addition to that, he is also a James Beard chef. And you can see it's a quaint little restaurant area, but it again has been created because Windstar is a very social cruise line. And we've set up, it's just a small little intimate 38 passengers at a time, but keeping in mind that we don't have lines, so it's not a problem. But what you don't see is around the corner, there's also a big chef table and an open kitchen. But it's designed that when you come to the table and you order a tapas meal, we'll actually bring enough to the table for everybody who's eating with you to all experience the same thing. The second restaurant that we've added on board is the Star Grill by Stephen Reichlin. And Stephen Reichlin is a world-renowned James Beard grill master. And he has spent his life studying barbecue, whether it be ancient barbecue or barbecue around the world, and he actually has written 13 cookbooks. So what we'll be doing under this restaurant is it'll be a smokehouse rotisserie, but we'll be bringing the regions that we're visiting on board these ships. So for example, when we're in Asia, this menu will have an Asian flair to it. When we're in places like Alaska, it'll be fresh smoked salmon and rotisserie reindeer, things that are local to where we're visiting. We also, on all of our ships, and I don't know if you remember from the video, but we have these fabulous water sports platforms. And when we are in port, we tender our ships so that we can open these water sports platform where it is available and where it's accessible, where this is all complimentary for our guests, where we open it up and you can swim in the ocean. We have things like water skiing, the paddle boards, kayaks, all kinds of different toys depending on where we go. But what most of our guests like to do is just float out on our little floaty things and enjoy the beautiful surroundings and the gorgeous places that we visit. Now, I don't suggest trying this in Iceland. It might be a little cold, but imagine doing this in the Caribbean or the Tahitian waters or even the beautiful Mediterranean. So we understand that right now people are concerned about sailing, but I will tell you that when sailing starts again, it will be one of the most reported and safe areas that you're probably going to be able to travel on, because with cruise lines, we have to report. We've always had to report any type of illness or injury or anything going on, which is why you hear more about cruise lines than you do any other entity. But with Windstar, we do take it very seriously, both for our guests and our crew. And we've created this Beyond Ordinary Care program. We've partnered with the University of Colorado, and we've come up with a multi-tier strategy. And I won't go through the details because quite truthfully, things do change on a daily basis, as you've probably all read in the news. But we will have pre-boarding requirements, on-board requirements, as well as it'll be extending into our shore excursions. But the most important thing that I want to let you know is we will be following all CDC guidelines as well as the countries we visit. But one thing that Windstar is doing different, that I think that we will probably be the first cruise line to be able to do that, is because our ships were in renovation, we were able to quickly change around our air filtration system and put a new state-of-the-art air filtration system on board. And all of our ships will be sailing with us when we start sailing again. And I'm not an engineer, but I'll explain it to the best of my ability. So basically, fresh air would come in, go through a damper, then a filter, and then go out and return the air and provide the air into the public spaces in your cabins. Our new state-of-the-art air filtration at a cost of $13 million means that our fresh air will come in, it'll go through a damper, then a HEPA filter, then a heating coil, then a cooling coil, before going through our ultraviolet disinfection, where it will then come through our humidifier and demister, and then we'll supply the air to the public spaces as well as your private cabins. This is going to create a 99.9% germ-free environment for our guests. And this is very, very important to Windstar. We're very proud that we're able to introduce this when we start sailing again. So, which then brings us to, where are we going to sail when we come back? So one of the great things with Windstar is every year we introduce new destinations, new itineraries, new ports. And in 2021, 2022, we don't have as many, but that's just because our ships are coming out a little bit shorter based on the renovation. But we are in Tahiti. We're going to be spending a lot more time on basically in our own backyards, doing the West Coast and the East Coast of the United States, which we've never done before. We'll be in Alaska. We do the Caribbean, but where we're mostly known for are more exotic type of locations. We're in Northern Europe. One of our most popular sailings is Iceland. We also sail the Mediterranean, where we do a lot of intense Spain itineraries, as well as sailing the Greek Isles. We're big in Italy. We spend a lot of time in Italy. That's probably one of our most popular locations, at least in 2021. And then we also do a little bit of Asia, and at the end of 2022, we'll be opening up our Australia-New Zealand season as well. So you'll see we're all over the world. And what I'm going to share with you today are some of our select sailings by Windstar. There are so many itineraries. I definitely suggest reaching out to your travel advisor to help you sort through exactly what you're looking to do, because there are so many, and we really are a bucket list cruise line. But these are the ones that we've won the most awards for or are the most popular with our guests. So starting with the Yachtsman Harbor of the Rivieras. So this is one that I know you can do on a lot of other cruise lines, but you do it different with Windstar. It does hit Italy, France, and Spain, which is why it is one of the more popular ones, especially when you're looking to travel in Europe. But this one for us is great for our wine lovers and our foodies especially. We spend a lot of time in port. So it's not just a quick in, get a shore excursion in and get back on the ship. We actually spend, where you might be in at 7 in the morning and leave at 11 o'clock at night. Some of the itineraries, most of our itineraries, we get in at 7 or 8 in the morning and we leave at anywhere between 8 and 11 o'clock at night. We also overnight in a lot of our locations. So one of the other ones that's very popular, and I actually took a little creative choice on this one, where this one is actually the Treasures of Southern Spain and Morocco. It truthfully is not one of our select sailings. Our select sailing is actually the portion right here where you're going to Lisbon to Barcelona or Barcelona to Lisbon. That's called our Spanish Serenade or our Spanish Symphony, and we do win a lot of awards for those. That is an 8-day sailing. But we have a few sailings a year, both in 2021 and 2022, where we add on this particular sailing a visit to Morocco, which I think is just outstanding. If you're flexible with your time at all, to be able to go in and, to spend 2 days in Morocco and to be able to enjoy the markets and the culture of Morocco while you're on this fabulous sailing, I definitely suggest adding the extra 2 days and doing that. But if not, as I say, our Spanish Symphony and our Spanish Serenade are two very highly awarded sailings for this time. This is my new Windstar favorite. So we have actually not sailed this itinerary. It was scheduled to sail in 2020, and all of the sailings with this, all of these dates actually were sold out 100%. But this is called our Footsteps of Faith in the Holy Lands. It's Greece, Israel, and Egypt. But we have the opportunity, it is a 10-day sailing, but if you have any interest whatsoever in traveling to these locations, this is probably one of the best and safest ways to be able to do it. We do a lot of overnights, but we actually travel mostly in the evening. So while you're sleeping is when you're actually traveling to the next location. To be able to enjoy the sights, the foods, the smells, the markets of this living history area, it's just an incredible way to go. whether it doesn't matter what your religion is, everyone has a different journey while they're here. And that's one of the things that I like about our sailing, is everyone does have a different journey. Everyone has a different itinerary that they want to do while they're in ports and different shore excursions. And on board this ship, and remember, there's only 312 guests, we have an onboard storyteller. And his job is to make sure that our guests are enjoying the destinations as you want to see them. But he's having breakfast, lunch, and dinner with you. He's giving lectures. He's going on shore excursions. He knows these areas that we visit very, very, very well. He is an expert. But, you know, this is an epic journey through the Holy Lands. And it really is an opportunity to explore it the way that you want to, and to see the holiest sites in all Christianity. So we also, another important part of this is not only is it a sailing, but you have the opportunity to do during the sailing where you leave the ship and you can do 2 nights, 3 days, where you're actually going to be going in for a deeper experience where you'll be going to Petra and the Dead Sea. And I will say last year during this, remember there's 312 guests that could have sailed on this in 2020, over 100 had booked this 3-day land trip as well because of the opportunities and the places that we visit while you're on it. And you just wouldn't be able to do it in that amount of time otherwise. So that's one of my new favorites. We were pretty much put on the map by this particular sailing here, which is called Treasures of the Greek Isles. It was my first sailing. That's actually my daughter and I right there. It was my first sailing with Windstar, and I will tell you, it has made both my daughter and myself Windstar fans for life. Now, I have to admit, I get some pretty good benefits being an employee of Windstar, but even if I was not an employee, I would definitely be doing this sailing again. This one's Athens to Athens, but we do go to Santorini, Mykonos, and Kusadasi, so we hit the big 3. What's special about this one is when we are in Santorini, we're actually there from 7 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night. So for example, when we were there, my daughter and I, we did a private tour, a private yacht tour of the caldera, which means that we saw Santorini from the water up because it's all up on cliffs, and we saw it from the water level. Then we were able to come back to the ship, take showers, have lunch, and then we were able to go over to explore Santorini and then go over to Ia, which is what you see the background here with all the pictures. And that's what you think of Santorini, but this is actually Ia. And we were able to have dinner and watch the sunset, which was absolutely beautiful. But what really makes this one special for Windstar is we have a Windstar only event where it's our after hours event where we go into Ephesus after hours. Ephesus is closed to everyone, where we treat our guests to a 5-course white glove dinner in the library of Celsius with a 3-piece string orchestra playing in the background. I can tell you that there is a priceless event. There's something about when the lights of Ephesus are going up and the sun is going down, and you are living in history, and it is just absolutely fabulous. My husband's favorite is this one, Classic Italy Dalmatian Coast. It is Venice to Rome or Rome to Venice. If you're flexible, I definitely suggest doing the Venice to Rome itinerary just because the sail away is so fabulous. But this one, you are seeing Italy. And remember, in Venice, we're still small enough to sail through the back of the canal. So if you can imagine leaving this iconic city as we are unfurling our sails one by one to 1492 Conquest of Paradise, you are so proud, and it is just such we're in Montenegro. We are small enough that we sail through the fjords and we anchor in Montenegro. And then we also go to Sicily and you end in Rome. So 2 absolutely fabulous ports. And then we also are doing the Aegean Sea Odyssey via the Corinth Canal. Now this one is on the Star Legend. It is Istanbul to Athens. And I will tell you, this one is being highlighted especially as there are special rates available to you through Friendship Tours and the Ship Shop, which of course we'll talk about at the end, just so that we can show you what you're going to be doing. But this here is my dream trip. So look at all the places that you're going. You start in Istanbul, which is a fabulous city in itself. and you're seeing a lot of Turkey. You are doing Kusadasi, you're going to Bodrum, you are stopping in Santorini. It's just a absolutely, absolutely fabulous sailing where you do actually get to see a lot while you're traveling here. And especially with the special, the special rates and special amenities that you'll get by booking, through your advisors. And just to give you an idea of where we are and how long you are in each port. So in this case, as I mentioned, you start in Istanbul. I do suggest going a couple days early into Istanbul because the Blue Mosque and all the things that there are to do in Istanbul are just incredible. The food is fabulous, the city is fabulous, just a really, really great way to start your itinerary. But in Mykonos, we're there from 9 in the morning till 9 at night. When we're in Kusadasi, of course, we're there from 8 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night because we have, we do spend a lot of time there. You're in Bodrum from 9 a.m. to 7. You're in Santorini, in this case, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then you're in Delphi, Greece from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So really great itinerary there. There are several dates, but if you're not able to go on that date, but we do have some special rates for you in the October date that we are holding. And then another one that we're very, very popular for is our lands in Northern Europe, around Iceland. We have a couple different itineraries. The one that is the most popular, we have a 7-day Reykjavik to Reykjavik. Every day you wake up in an absolutely stunning fishing village, and you're really able to see Iceland in a week. You get up close to the waterfalls, you see the stunning wildlife. I can't even describe. We've actually had so many people that go on our Iceland itinerary and turn around and book it for the following year just because there's so much to do. We've added now an additional interior cruise trip that you can take with it as well, where at the beginning or the end of your itinerary, depending on your date, where you're able to add a 3-day interior tour along with it. So really great way to see Iceland. And I won't spend a lot of time in the Caribbean because I know that you're all very familiar with the Caribbean, but what I want to point out with Windstar is we do a different type of Caribbean where we're not going to the big ports that were created by the cruise line. We're going to places like Falmouth Harbor, Soper's Hole, Jost Van Dyke, Meru, some of those little tiny places that you've probably never even heard of. But if you've been on a big ship or you've been to the Caribbean islands, you've looked across and you've seen these tiny little islands where the yachts are. And that's where Windstar is. So you really do get a more authentic up-close Caribbean vacation. So we have one that we have also have some exclusive savings for you on select dates with Friendship Tours in the Ship Shop as well. And that is for our most popular Caribbean itinerary, which is the Yachtsman Caribbean. And you can see this one here. It is St. Martin to St. Martin, but we do go to Soper's Hole and Jost Van Dyke and Antigua, just, Virgin Gorda, some of those places, like I say, that you just wouldn't experience if you weren't there. And one of the locations, as you can see here in Jost Van Dyke, we actually overnight. So we're there from 7 p.m. You get to go into the island, have fun, have a few drinks, enjoy the culture in the evening, and then spend the whole next day until we sail away at 3 o'clock. We do the same thing again in Virgin Gorda. So we're there at 6 o'clock at night until 5 p.m. the next day. We are in Costa Rica. The one that we have won the most awards are on our Adventures in Panama and Costa Rica because of all the UNESCO sites that you're able to see. We do a full transit of the Panama Canal, and we do have a onboard naturalist. So the naturalist is actually, again, engaging with our guests throughout, answering the questions, but also narrating as we go through the Panama Canal and letting you know the places that we'll be going and what you should be seeing while you're there. If you're looking for a dream vacation, I will tell you our Tahiti sailing is just absolutely fabulous. Tahiti was not what I expected it to be. I expected it to be all beaches and very much like Florida. It was not at all. For those of you that have been to Tahiti, every single island and moto is different from the next. So this one here is our most popular. We have a lot of different Tahiti itineraries, but this one is the most popular, is a 7-day Papeete to Papeete. But you are, you're out here in the South Pacific, but you're going we concentrate on this one in the Society Islands, but we do overnight in Bora Bora, so you get 2 full days in Bora Bora. You're going to Moorea, we're in Huahine, but I will tell you my very favorite stop was Taha. And this here is my daughter, and we actually did catch an octopus. But what we were doing here is we were drift snorkeling. If you are a snorkeler, and I am, I can tell you, you will never see more beautiful snorkeling anywhere in the world that I can imagine. It really felt like we were in an aquarium. So in this case, we were drift snorkeling in Taha. And Taha is where Jennifer Aniston had her remote honeymoon, if that gives you any idea how far off the beaten path it is. I think they only have accommodations for 44 people on this particular island. But we were drift snorkeling, and drift snorkeling means that there's coral all around us, and we lay there, and the current takes us where we need to go. But it really did feel like it was an aquarium. We saw schools of angelfish. We saw eel. We saw so much coral in so many different ways. I can't even tell you how beautiful that was and how stunning and how clear. And I actually do have other photos that I took with a $30 underwater camera, including this one. But our guide literally reached in, pulled out this octopus. We all stood up. We all passed it around, and then my daughter was the last one to hold it, where she let it go, and we watched it turn the color of sand and swim away. Just an incredible, incredible experience. One of the fun things on this sailing as well is we do include where we bring all of our guests to our private moto, where we have a big pig roast and fire dancers and hula dancers, and it's really a fun evening that all of our guests look forward to. And then I mentioned our sailings closer to home. For those that are not comfortable traveling out of the country in the next couple years, we have one of our more popular ones is Canada and New England. We have a couple different itineraries, but this is the itinerary I like because I think you see the most. It starts in New York City. We do sail through the canals in Cape Cod because we're small enough to do that. We're going up to Newport, Rhode Island, Provincetown, Bar Harbor. We go through the Canoso Canal, and then through Halifax, Charlottetown, and eventually end in Montreal. So that's definitely a close to home location for you all as well, but a great way to still get to enjoy a vacation and see the beautiful fall foliage. So our most popular sailing right now is Alaska. And Alaska's always been popular, but not always our number one. But I think this is, again, because of everyone feeling that they want to stay a little bit closer to home and having a little bit of control. And we're not just another cruise line sailing in Alaska. We really are more up close. And a lot of these photos that I'm going to show you now are from my coworker friends who went on one of our Alaska sailings last year. And this is my friend Gina and her 12-year-old daughter. And I show you this because this is a really great sailing for multi-generational groups to be traveling. So this is, when they went on this sailing, they actually took the more adventurous side where they did the helicopter rides, the dog sledding, they did the zip lining, and, you know, basically things that you need to do to entertain a 12-year-old. But my friend Andrea was there, and she was more about the photography. And what you're looking at here, yes, are pictures of whales, but these were taken from the bow of the ship. Now, I will admit she probably has a much nicer camera than my iPhone camera, but look how close she was to be able to take photos like this. And, you know, look at the one with the mama and her little baby. I mean, how absolutely fabulous to be able to get that up close and personal. Because remember, with Windstar, we are small enough that we sail up through the fjords and we actually anchor in the national parks. Whereas the big ships, they're taking you on a shore excursion to the national parks, but we anchor there. And another unique thing with Windstar is we changed this ship into an expedition ship. And on board, we have an expedition staff, which the team consists of geologists, marine biologists, botanists, glaciologists, professional photographers to help you get those photos like what my friend took that she said she could never have done without them helping her to show her how to do that. So it really is a more up close personal, but we also go places that you can't go to in Alaska on the big ships, places like College Fjords. And what I'm going to show you next is actually my friend David took this from the bow of the ship, and it's not professional, I will tell you that in advance, but I want to show you how up close personal you get from the ship. This is him taking it with a cell phone from the ship. You'll hear the other guests in the back. like to show that because it really is a different way to see Alaska. If you can imagine everybody on a ship being able to see that at the same time, how incredible. Now, I can't promise that every time, but, and we do win a lot of awards. Our Alaska sailings are on the Condé Nast 2019 hot list. We do land tours as well as cruise tours. So, you know, if you're interested in doing the Denali National Park and the train, we do have an add-on tour that you can do along with your sailing, or you can do it without the sailing if you wanted to do that. So we do have departures. We have 7, 10, 11 night departures. And just so you know, we are the experts in this business. So we are a small cruise line, but we're part of a large corporation. We're part of the Xanterra Travel Collection. And you may know us by, we own things like the Grand Canyon Railway, the Grand Canyon Hotel. We manage the national parks like the Grand Canyon, Glacier, Yellowstone, Zion. We own things like the Broadmoor and Sea Island. So we partner with a lot of our organizations as well while we're out there. So we are the experts of traveling all over the world, and probably the closest one to you that you may know is we do own the Vermont Country Walkers and Vermont Bicycle Tours. So I was born and raised in Vermont, so I can tell you, I remember Vermont bicycle tours from when I was a little kid. But it is a world of unforgettable experiences. We win lots and lots of awards, both by our peers as well as our guests that have been on board. So I appreciate the opportunity to present to you today, and I am going to turn this back over to Brett and Donna. And thank you, and if you have any questions, definitely feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
Thanks so much. That was a great trip around, and the itineraries are amazing. As you can see, there's so much here that we could spend a couple hours talking about this product line. If you go onto our website, you will see the different ones listed. So I did want to share quickly and have Donna go through just a couple of the different trips that are available. So let's see if we can't get to the right thing. So Donna, I know didn't go to the right one. I was going to have you start off with just a couple of the different product lines that are out there for us to basically do. So let's get into the right part of the Zoom. Is always an interesting thing when it will allow you to share. I actually had pulled up all of our specific itineraries, and it's so one thing that we've done is, of course, put on all the different options on the website for you to be able to look for. And this is just simply one of the sales sections. So we are going to show you some special ones that we have some pricing, but we also will be posting things throughout so you can come back, get a good feel for the product line, and kind of go from there. Donna, why don't you go ahead and just talk a little bit about these, and I'm going to bring up other ones.
On our site, you'll find that we have added 4 different departures, 2 for 2021 for next year and 2 for 2022. Hard to believe we're thinking that far away, but I know some people are like, well, you know, maybe I'm not ready to travel in 21 and I'm going to look forward to 22. Windstar's made it wonderful to think about booking that far out and feeling comfortable about, you know, making a deposit for that far away. So, but I'll start with 21, and I'll tell you that the first sailing that we're featuring, and what I want to say though, at the, you know, right off the bat, is that any sailing that Windstar offers, we can offer to you. We have just selected these 4 different departures because we've gotten feedback from customers that have said, I'd love to cruise around Iceland, or I'd love to do the California coast. So we chose 4 different departures, but it doesn't mean that that is all we offer. Any of the sailings, you can certainly give us a call, and then you know, we can custom design it for you and your family, and that's just easy. So just let us know what interests you the most. But starting off in 21, we've selected a date at the end of August to cruise around Iceland, and I know that Brett and Heidi, Iceland holds a special place for them. They met on a cruise going to Iceland. They got engaged on a cruise going to Iceland. So they definitely would love to do this cruise though, which actually circumnavigates the entire, you know, country, which is pretty amazing.
One of the real highlights about this is often when you go to Iceland, you see portions of it. Very rarely do you get around to the western side, and so often you start in Reykjavik and you end up in Akureyri up at the very northern top part of it, and you might come over to the towards the eastern side where Vik and some of the glaciers are, but this actually goes all the way around. And for those that don't know, Iceland only finished the ring road that goes all the way around the country about 15 years ago. So still to this day, it can be really difficult to get, you can't drive on the interior because the roads, you need either the Icelandic horse, a helicopter, or special vehicles. And so what's great here is, number one, you're going to all the different parts, but number two is in Iceland, the hotels are very, very simple. And here you have your floating resort that you're basically going from place to place and ending up in these great little areas. So a really neat experience and a great time of year to go.
Absolutely. So that is the first one. We have that at the end of August. But again, this is offered in 21 and 22. So it can be done at any time that you would like. If you choose one of these dates, there are extra incentives if you book 4 or more cabins. So you just need to reach out to me or to Heidi or Barbara, and we'd be glad to talk to you about that. It's great for multi-generational family groups, clubs, you know, lots of different types of people that would want to come together and experience this amazing country. Seriously, this is awesome. The next one is the California coast in October of 21. So this is also on one of the Star class ships, the Star Breeze, which just recently finished its $250 million refurbishment. And what's really nice about this is that you are round trip San Diego, so we are close to home. If you're just looking to stay in the country, this is a beautiful itinerary. So starting in San Diego, you pop down to Ensenada for half a day, and then the rest of the time you're in San Fran, which is beautiful with its Fisherman's Wharf, Monterey, Santa Barbara, Catalina, all these little places that the big ships like Catalina Island, Santa Barbara, they don't get into these places, and you really get to experience the small little harbors on this wonderful cruise. And this is in October, and that starts at only $1969 per person. So that's a very, very good value for sure. And then we'll get into 22, and we can be talking about the Yachtsman Caribbean, which I think was my favorite itinerary, because on my last cruise, I missed getting into Virgin Gorda because of weather, and I've always wanted to go to the baths at Virgin Gorda, and I've not been able to get there. And this itinerary where you actually stay docked overnight in Virgin Gorda just sounds fantastic. You would get a lot of use out of the platform here, the water sports platform, and just these great little places that you can't get into. And that one starts at $23.99. That's March of 2022. And that sails round trip out of St. Martin. So it's a very, very nice itinerary. And then the last one is a lot of people's favorite, the Aegean Odyssey. And that is where you actually get to cruise through the Corinth Canal, which is just absolutely an amazing experience. You can actually touch, they say you could feel like you could touch the walls of the Corinth Canal as you're going through, but you get to also experience Santorini and Mykonos and Kusadasi to get to Ephesus. So you have a lot of really nice ports on this itinerary. And that one starts at a little over $3,700 a person. And at the ship shop, what we would do is we would then be your concierge. We would be your go-to person to help get you to these destinations with your, design your airfare. Airfare is not included in the cost, but we can go ahead and arrange that for you. We can also arrange custom packages for you in the port cities that you leave or depart from, because you may want to go in and see Istanbul a couple of days before, or into St. Martin a couple of days if it's winter and you're worried about, maybe just not getting there and you want to relax a little couple of days before your cruise departs. So that's what we would do for you. We would, do those things for you, get you situated and get you on your way. But those, again, are just 4 of those itineraries that we're offering with Windstar. But again, if there's anything that jumped out at you, like Tahiti, which of course I think we'd all love to do, just let us know. That certainly is something we can help you with.
And then what you just went by too is the 7 for 7. It's every Thursday we offer 7 sailings that will be on sale for 7 days. So, you know, you can get some great value on some of those opportunities as well. And then another thing that I forgot to mention in my presentation is right now it's a pretty good time to book when it comes to, you know, your insurance purposes as well. Meaning, if you book from today until December 31st and you're booking a 2021 sailing, you have up until 48 hours prior to sailing to cancel for any reason. You'll be given a future cruise credit to use, but you can cancel up to 48 hours for any reasons, no questions asked. Normally, that's a very expensive insurance policy, and it's just part of what we're offering now. If you book between now and December 31st for a 2022 sailing, it's a 15-day prior to sailing cancellation. So normally, I will tell you, normally that's 120 days prior. So the fact that we've moved it from 120 days to 15 days for 2022 is pretty good right now.
So this is the perfect time to be thinking about it. It does give you that assurance that, you know, you can have something to look forward to. People may have missed that special anniversary, occasion, birthdays, and just they want to have something that's going to get them through this long winter and be thinking about something to look forward to. I think that's wonderful that Windstar is offering that, and I applaud you for doing that. That's great.
Very good. Does
So
anybody have any questions that we didn't answer?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the next step. Yes.
Let's go ahead and see if we can unmute. And if there's not that many of us at this point, so you can either write a question in the chat box and we'll look there, but we'll also go ahead and let everybody, if you want to unmute yourself, you certainly can, and you can ask your question.
We do have one last thing that you can't leave before you see this last video though. So if you're, after the questions are over, we're gonna show one more video that you really don't wanna miss.
I think we've probably done such a great job. They're still formulating those ideas. But the last picture, and it's behind Donna, if you see, is the wonderful sails. And I think between the 6 ships, 3 sailing vessels, it really gives you a great variety, but there's something romantic. And I think originally the idea of going to Tahiti on these ships and sailing in and out of the islands was kind of the beginnings of all of this, but it is amazing. And I know we talked about the Dalmatian coast and being able to go from a port like a Venice, which if you've watched the news, that may not be an option for a lot of ships going into the future, but these smaller type ships. Yeah. And so if you bear with me, I think we're gonna play one last thing for you. And
then we'll let you have dinner.
And we'll let you have dinner. And of course, I think Heidi has her Aperol Spritz, which of course is a wonderful one if you're going into Italy. That's something you definitely wanna get to know well. And let's go ahead and get this thing to play here.
If you do go to Italy, as you're walking around the streets at like 5 p.m., all the outdoor cafes, everyone's drinking this bright orange drink, and it is delicious.
Too many things.
That'd be the way to go to Venice. Just walk around the streets.
Make it easy for me.
Brett and I went to Italy on our honeymoon, and one of the things we did there is hire we went on a food tour, which is one of the best ways I think to see any city. We walked all over the city of Rome, going to the back rooms, these little restaurants, so they would explain how they made their salami, and they would give us wine in a paper cup, and then we'd walk to the next place. It might be a fish shop. We'd meet the owner there. Then we walked over to like an ice cream store, and we'd have some ice cream. We went to a pizza store. It was actually such a great way to get acquainted with the town that you
And talk to the locals.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're confident in what you want to order when you go to restaurants, because now you know what everything is. You've tried it. Kind of know what you're getting.
Unfortunately, this thing is just not being easy for me
I
today.
know I just picked out my Accurary excursion on this Windstar, the one that sails around Iceland. I've been watching the series Trapped. I think it's on Amazon Prime, and it all takes place in Iceland. And one of the excursions out of Accurary with Windstar takes you up to the town where it was filmed, and a brew pub. Perfect.
Oh, that's
There
fun.
you go.
I don't know if you've ever seen Below Deck, if anybody's ever watched that sailing show. It's one of my favorites. But both in the Caribbean sailings, as well as when they've been in the Med and Tahiti, you'll see the Windstar or the Wind Spirit in the background. You'll see our ship almost every time. Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
we always call those the Windstar sightings. And then we're all texting each other. Did you see us?
That's a riot.
I know we've seen Windstar ships on our.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Because they always just look so amazing.
Yeah, it is funny that when, and I've had it happen to me, when we get off our ships, we really are approached by either other cruise ship passengers or people from the port, and they're always like, are you on that ship? Are you coming from there? What's it like? I mean, they really do love it. Do you have it, Brad? Or if not, I can try to get it.
It's not maximizing on my screen. I don't know if it's in a different share mode. So
You can find the sail away.
I have it literally the video right here. I can play it, but it's not.
So what he's looking for is one of the things that Windstar is famous for is we have our Windstar Sail Away. And this is where every time we leave port, we play 1492 Conquest of Paradise. And on the sailing yachts,
Is that showing it?
Nope.
No, our ships will unfurl one by one to the tempo of the music. And I'm not kidding when I say this, people cry. I haven't cried, but people actually cry because it is just that emotional. And we have this really great video where we did interview our guests, I think it was 2 years ago now, but we interviewed our guests on board, and you can hear the music and they explain how it all works. And it really is a fabulous little video. And I do have it as well, so I can try to get it if you'd like me to try.
That'd be great. Yeah, go for it.
I'd cry.
I would too. I
cried just watching the video.
I mean, just think about it. I saw the video and I was like, oh my gosh, this would absolutely make me cry too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding. I work with a lot of people I meet a lot of people in my travels that have traveled with us. And that's what they always say, is that is one of the most incredible things that they would say about Windstar.
I traveled with you and I feel the same way.
Oh, that's
You've done it, Carol?
Well, then I want to point out, as a yacht club member, please, everyone, use her name while you're booking, because we have a really generous yacht club program that if a yacht club member recommends you, she gets $100 shipboard credit for her next event, but so do you when you travel. So
there you go.
Definitely. All right, I'm going to share it right now. Hold on before it starts playing. Oh, hold on. Stop it. All right, I might have to start it again while we start. I got to hear myself. Oh. I'm sorry, I messed it up. Well, I don't know what I've done. I don't know.
This poor video.
I think I have to share my screen first. Let me share it.
All right, and pick sound.
All right.
It's right there. It's not working.
It should be. I'm going to pick here. Show. Yeah, the problem is because I'm pulling it out. I'm not pulling it from my PowerPoint. I don't know what it looks like, and I have about 500 windows open. Well, oh, I know what to do. I'm going to open it right in here. Hold on. Star is Sail Away. You guys are all being very patient waiting for this.
We are.
I wouldn't be so much. So I appreciate that. All right. Hold on. Now let me share. I think I can do this fairly quickly now. Share. And let me share my sound. Got that already. Okay, here we go. Bigger. Oops, I'm just making myself bigger before I play.
The ceremony with the sales, when we sell from a port, we always run first sales, starting from the number 1 up to number 5 and then the mizzen, and we play the music 4092. So it's really a combination. You feel like sailing in an old caravel. Everything is operated by the bridge, by the officer of the watch. So it's unique. Only with Windstar you can find this. We have time for each sail, so according to the music, and the idea is by the time we finish unfurling all the sails, we finish also the music.
The sail away is something I've never really experienced before.
We could never have imagined it being quite this spectacular. Outstanding.
There's something so majestic and so amazing about it.
The sails have a total surface of 21,500 square feet. They are made of dicron. Height of the mast is 67.5 meters. So it's really a huge area, and it's possible to have under sails only. And if you can imagine almost 15,000 tons under sails only, it's a unique experience.
Watching the sails come out, it's a special time.
Yeah.
The music especially, that's even more special.
It almost took your breath away. It was fabulous.
It's the hit of the day because people are waiting for that sail away moment, and they all want to come on deck and they want to feel and hear that sound and see the sails as you're heading off into the sunset. Truly magical. It's one of the wonderful reasons you want to come on the windsurf is there's nothing like this.
With the music, with the sails, it's really emotional. The decks are always full of guests around to taking pictures, and it's a memory forever. You are discovering the world, and nobody's around. You just see the land, the ship, and you feel really like a true sailing experience.
That's so nice.
Yes, so thank you all. I don't know how to turn it off. But thank you everyone for joining tonight.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
everyone.
It's great
Call
having you
your
all with
travel
us.
advisors.
And we'll
Thank
see
you.
everybody soon. Thanks again
Thank
for all
you.
the expert information. Have a great night. Thanks for sticking in there, and hopefully you'll go have a nice dinner.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Buddy, take care.